Greetings to you from T and O. We respect each of you, for you are members of the next level. We have some information that we want to try to make clear. I think probably for the first time in this incarnation, we fairly thoroughly understand the vehicle's breakdown and healing process and what causes disease and problems with the vehicle, and also how those problems can be overcome. We'll start off by saying that the major cause of vehicular breakdown is stress, and stress because of conflict. In other words, let's say that as a child, you decided to, let's say one example of conflict could be guilt carried over from childhood. For example, lung cancer or difficulties with the lungs, which we blame tobacco for, is more rightfully blamed on a deep-seated guilt that, say, an individual might have for sneaking out and smoking his cigarette behind the barn or somewhere when he knew that it was not permissible and that his parents were opposed to it. But that guilt stayed there and set up the circumstance so that then the tobacco could really do its number on causing destructive cells to begin to work and accumulate. Now, let's say that tobacco has been stopped some years later. Doesn't necessarily mean that the disease in the lung has stopped if that deep-seated guilt has not been surfaced and eradicated. Now, this is just an example. I'll give you a couple of examples of things that will require that you be pretty above responding as humans. Let's say that a female in her adolescence was very self-conscious about the size of her breasts. Then either they were too big and she was self-conscious about them, or they weren't as big as she wanted them to be when she was very much into that level of thinking. That conflict there with the vehicle not being what the person wanted it to be could cause a deep-seated destructive tendency in the cells of that area of the body, which is, of course, cause for so many cases of breast cancer and difficulties with malignancies or even non-malignant growths, abnormalities caused in that area of the body. Let's say the instance, too, of guilt that came with early sex, when something that you wanted to do, but there was also a fear and a guilt, a deep-seated guilt, because you might have felt like you were doing it before you should be doing it. And it was, let's say, you were too young or you snuck around to do it. And then this could also cause such things as prostate or vaginal or testicle cancers or growths, things that occurred because of deep-seated conflict, mental conflict. Let's say that someone wanted not to see something but couldn't help but see something, and the conflict there could cause difficulties with the eyes. We want you to really think long and hard on how this natural process works of causing breakdown in the vehicle because of you're not liking certain aspects of the vehicle. Now, this can even apply to since you've been on this endeavor of trying to become a member of the next level, you also have maybe slipped into guilt or shame regarding certain areas of your body, or let's say because you feel like your vehicle still wants to respond in a sensuous way. And rather than translating that in a higher way, you have guilt and conflict or toward those parts of your vehicle. You should have grown enough by now to look at the reproductive organs of the vehicle in a much higher way than sex. In other words, those reproductive organs can assist your body by abstinence in using those organs in a sexual way, but you still, if you have healthy reproductive organs, those organs can produce a vitality throughout your body that can even assist in your power, your strength to overcome the poisons or disease or conflicts or difficulty with your body. So as you meditate, think carefully that your body is perfect, not perfect in the eyes of what a human cares to see, because you don't care any longer. But your body is perfect. It is whole. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't have anything about it that you dislike. It's a perfect creation of the next level, and all of its systems you want to be perfect and to function perfectly, even though they will be functioning differently than they functioned when you were functioning as a human. So in your meditation, as you think of your vehicle as perfect and from one end to the other, realize that it's exactly as it should be, and that go to every part of the vehicle that might even possibly have any ailment, pain or discomfort, or where there might have been any deep-seated guilt or self-consciousness or shame or any type of conflict, and say to direct your thought to that part of the body and say, healthy cells in my, let's say that I have difficulty in my abdomen, then I'm going to say, healthy cells of my abdomen, you're going to be strong and overpower any unhealthy cells. Your healthy, white, strong, large cells that are going to just eat up and eradicate any destructive or diseased cells in that area. Do this many times a day. Even as you go about your work, you don't have to be in a meditative position to practice this, even though practicing it thoroughly while you are in a meditative posture can certainly be more concentrated assistance. But even as you go about your chores and you become aware of those parts of your body that might have shown some symptoms of difficulty, then immediately let your thoughts very strongly go to that area and tell the strong, white, large, healthy cells and all the energy in your body to direct for that moment that healing strength, that white light, that healthy energy to those cells and overcome any weak cells that are there or any diseased cells. Think on this until you can really understand how the process of decay has worked, or disease has worked, and if you understand it thoroughly, then you can understand that the same is true of the reverse, that now you must apply the same amount of effort toward healing those areas as you did effort applied in guilt or shame or self-consciousness. And when that effort has equalized, those parts of your vehicle that have tried to break down on you will be perfect again. Even, let's say, that your surroundings caused you to be very hyper or very nervous, or you just couldn't tolerate the circumstance that you were in, say in childhood or adolescence or since then, or difficulties that you've had in overcoming your vehicle. Now, zero in on those aspects of your vehicle, whether it's your nervous system or particular parts of your vehicle. Zero in on those and soothe them, calm them, flatter them if necessary, make them know that there is nothing wrong, that all of the cellular structure of those nerves or of those parts of your body, they are perfect. They are going, if they are not perfect, they are quickly going to become perfect with the application of your energy directed toward them in healing them. This is basically the principle employed through the ages by Jesus and any who knew the actual workings of the physical mechanism and knew how to translate the energies into higher application instead of translating them in ways that humans might have translated.